Hey guys, and welcome back to Trunks Effect. Chris?
I'm Brightman.
All right, so now welcome to our spoiler review of Dragon Ball Super Super Hero. We just finished recording our non-spoiler, so now we can actually talk about the movie in depth. So if you haven't seen it yet, I recommend just going and watching that video real fast and then saving this one to watch later and coming back to it. But we're gonna get right into it. So let's go off like the positives of this movie first, and then we can get into our negatives after that. So what are your like main positives? When you left the theater, kind of what are your what are you high on? What is your positive of the movie?
Obviously, positives, the new forms, like they gave her reasons from for the forms. The new forms look awesome, but the fights, I mean, it's a Dragon Ball. You know the fights are going to be great.
Yeah.
And then Pan, like Pan, as we said in the non-spoiler, Pan's awesome. Like she's funny and adorable.
Yeah. So I mean, my major things like that. Yeah, like I like that Piccolo just calls it Orange Piccolo because he's a simple man, simple Papa Piccolo. Gohan's is awesome.
Yeah.
Then it's like the opposite. They're like, we're gonna super explain Piccolo's form, but then gotta give you anything for fucking Gohan's. You're just gonna accept that shit because he has got nothing in 15 years. Yeah, you're just gonna accept it.
Yeah, just Gohan just loses his shit.
Yeah, he thought his dad died, so he was just like, oh god, he was very sad. But Whis is great in this as always. Beerus is great. You kind of get to see like the remnants and some people from Broly. So I do like that these are still connected because it could have been very much its own thing. Right. But I do like that they're still like, hey, Broly happened. And so we're bringing some like Limo and like Chile's there.
But poor
Chile, man. She's just getting hit on so hard by Beerus, which is so weird. You just like, he does it, and but yeah, they're all great in this movie. Goku and Vegeta are in it for a little bit, and they've got some good things.
And Vegeta is thinking.
Dude, I mean, like I said, that's my one thing with this movie and like where we've been. Like they're setting stuff up finally. I'm actually super excited if they bring the anime back, which all things that we know, it is coming back. And so I'm super excited to see where they take it. Having read the manga, I'm super excited for them to take what they've done here and then take the story arcs and put them in here. Because I think this will be way cooler than what they've done in the anime. Yeah, Vegeta's thinking. Like, there's a lot of things. Goku's still dumb, but great. Yeah. I mean, Broly's great still. Like,
and really, Goku doesn't really have any reason to think because he already has a ultra instinct.
Yeah, look at it. He got a power so he didn't have to think. Yeah. The man's thinking the most. Yeah. He's like, how can I not think when fighting? Yeah. I'm just going to be ultra instinct. I'm going to do it. But I like that. Yeah, Pan's great. And I do like even though it's like a long, like slow burn setup for this, I do like the setup. Them bringing Red Ribbon makes sense back. And even how they get Gohan to be stronger makes sense.
Right. And with the Red Ribbon Army, I'm glad they explained why the hell they have so much money.
Yeah, they're like, hey, they're just in pharmaceuticals.
I was like, all right, but evidently they are the only pharmaceutical company, just like Capsule Corp is the only company that makes capsules.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, they're just like, they're super rich. They're the richest people in the world, like, but I do still find it funny that like, they're like, we did some investigating. We found out that these guys are evil, and they're actually the ones that killed Cell and Frieza, not Mr. Satan. You're like, yeah, no shit. Like, it's still funny to think and kind of like be like, oh yeah, no one knows that. Still, no one knows that. But he gets manipulated. Dr. Hero gets manipulated into like building Cell and Gamma 1 and 2.
Which, as we find out, Dr. Hero is the grandson of Dr. Gero.
Yep.
And one of his wives was Android 21, which makes her canon.
Now she's canon. Yes. Great. I'm like, hey, man, we're finding the family's coming together. Man, we got Broly that's canon. Yes. We got Android 21 is canon.
So now Fighters is canon now.
Yeah. We did it. We made it. Arc Systems is like, thank God, we did a thing and it worked. But yeah, I mean, I love that. I do like Pan. Pan and Piccolo are so great in this. They just like have their like sometimes they don't even say anything, and they make stuff work. Like when she's being kidnapped, it's great. She beats the shit out of that dude.
Well, and it's like the complete opposite of what he did with Gohan, because he had to get Gohan ready to fight the Saiyans. And Pan, at that point there was no immediate danger, but he still wanted Pan to know how to fight and to be ready just in case.
Yeah, dude, he treated Gohan like shit. He said, "You can go fend for yourself in the woods, you a piece of shit." Because I think he knew that it's like he just had this latent potential, and like Chi-Chi's the problem though. Chi-Chi was always the problem with that, where it was like they got different parents at least now. Gohan's like, yeah, she go be. I don't want to deal with her, so she's gonna go get strong. That's fine. But yeah, I like Gohan in this. He's funny. He's working on research, and like Piccolo has to do all this shit. He's like, I'm just gonna steal your kid because I know that's gonna make you angry and come actually fight some shit. So it's not a bad thing that this is happening. And we get to see Dende, which is good. He just pours some fucking water on Shenron. He's like, now he's more powerful. But Piccolo's by a waterfall.
Yes. He lives by a waterfall now.
Yeah.
So now he no longer has to go find a waterfall to train at. He's right there.
He's right there. Look at it. All the things that we've been talking about for the last like billion episodes have come true. Bean Daddy shows up. He's there
with his porn stash.
He's just like, oh my God, how old is Yajirobe now? He's like 78. Like still he's dyeing his mustache and his hair. Like I don't even think he says anything in this movie. He just stands there. He may have like one line, but he doesn't really say anything.
They actually aged Korin.
Yeah. Yep. Korin ages. I'm like, everybody's ages. Yeah. Dende's older. Goten and Trunks are older.
Which I did not like. That they were like, oh well, so Saiyans just stay young for a while, and then they just shoot up.
Like that's some Toriyama shit where he's like, this is gonna be funny because I don't give a shit, but I have to explain it. So they're just tiny for a long time, and then they get big. But it's like how they go from teenage to like adult. Like what's the ratio? Yeah. Are they just like teenagers forever again for the same amount of time, or is it just like they're teenagers now? The next movie they're going to be adults. Like
the reason I call BS on that. Look at the anime. They actually aged Gohan, and it was in a progressive state.
Yeah,
he starts off small. Then we get the teen Gohan. Then we get the high school Gohan, and now the adult Gohan.
Hell, they de-aged Goku. We went backwards. We aged him all the way up and then put him back. We're like, you know what? He's gonna be a baby again. Like he's gonna be a little kid again. But but I think now.
Yeah, but that part we do not talk about that part.
We don't discuss that. Shh. It never happened. But I also just wonder, I'm like, we need to differentiate because if Goten becomes an adult, I'm like, everybody's gonna look the fucking same. Yeah. Like at least Gohan's hair is a little different, and Goten's hair's got this like down up thing. Yeah. I'm like, we're starting to get the points. Like, what happens with Trunks? What happens when Trunks looks like Trunks? What are we gonna do? We can never have future Trunks and teenage Trunks together because when he becomes an adult, what the fuck happens? They just look identical.
Right, and that's going to cause a lot of problems.
I'm gonna need no purple. I know he was wearing purple in this fucking movie. I'm like, you guys are gonna have to wear different colors. I'm gonna need a red and a blue just so I can distinguish you. You're gonna need to be like Gamma 1 and 2. I'm gonna need a 1 and a 2 on you guys. But yeah, so that's mainly the stuff that I liked. All the fights are great. Yeah. Like you said, the transformations are great. Gohan just getting pissed multiple times in this movie is just great to see. Like I said, you just don't see it. Like Goku, he's just getting strong and he's getting mad because like he wants to be stronger. Right. But Gohan really has like an emotional like reason for getting stronger. Like his daughter gets taken and then he thinks Piccolo is basically dead, and he's like, "Fuck that."
See, and it's then never because of his dad dies. It's always because like someone else,
his real dad dies. Yes. He don't give a shit about Goku. No. Like, he's like, "Oh, fuck that guy. Yeah. He's got half my life. Yeah. I didn't even know he existed."
Yeah. But if Piccolo dies, massive power spike.
Yeah.
Just look at Nappa.
Yeah.
And this movie. Yeah. Android 16 dies. massive power spike.
Yeah.
Look at the anime.
He barely knew that motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's like, that robot's cooler than my dad. Which, I mean, Android 16 is fucking great.
Right.
So, but I will say that's another good thing. Like, everybody does something in this movie. Fucking Krillin does something in this movie.
Okay, Krillin is useful.
We see a fucking solar flare, which we haven't seen in fucking forever.
Yes, like, well, what movie was or when was the last time Krillin was useful?
I don't even remember. And I've watched all these movies.
Yeah, like,
it was in the anime at some point.
Yeah,
I mean, Tournament of Power, he did stuff, but I mean, he was just fighting other people. Like, he on his power level. He never went above and beyond.
Namek. It was Namek. And Namek was the last time he was actually useful.
Yeah, useful, and then he got his ass killed.
Yeah.
That's why he... the last time he did anything, he got dead. But he's good. Like, Bulma's great in this movie. Like I said, everybody's great. Like, I mean, that's like I said, we said this in our non-spoiler. This movie is just fun.
Yes.
It knows what it wants to be. It's not trying to be serious and like plotting like Broly is. It is just like, hey, we're just gonna have fun with this movie. We're gonna even bringing back Cell is a thing. Like, hey, we're not gonna make a new bad guy because that would like push things forward. So we're just gonna make Cell. Yeah. Because this is a like, and it's not actually Cell, but it's some big bad that we can like make Piccolo big again. You gotta have something where there's a bad guy that's big enough.
Which I do want to add that to a positive, where we had a kaiju battle.
We did, and that was great. I mean, just like cutting back to that early tournament with King Demon Piccolo getting big. Like we mentioned that too. Like all those cutbacks, that 2D stuff looks amazing. So I really liked all that. Man, I mean, yeah, there's a lot. Again, Pan is great. Yes. Her just playing along with Piccolo. I'm like, hey, we're just gonna pretend that you're scared. So her just doing it. You know, Piccolo holding her up, and then whenever she does, she just unchinks her chain. She's just like, boop, beats the shit out of people. I'm like, it's fucking great, man. It's just like, it's like, it reminds me of the only good thing that was in those movies is whenever Gohan would just like roll up on the bad guys, and they're just like, he's not gonna do nothing, and he fucking just beats the shit out of all of them. You're like, that's Pan. Yeah. I mean, his daughter's the same fucking way.
Exactly.
Innocent and just beats the shit out of people. She does finally fly in this movie, even though she does fly technically in the anime. Like, she really flies, you know, now. Toriyama probably forgot that she flew, and so he's like, no, it's a big deal. It's like Vegeta beating Kakarot. That never happened before.
Right. In which in the anime he beats him at the end of the Saiyan saga because it was Krillin, Yajirobe, and Gohan combined that beat Vegeta. He beats him in the Majin Buu arc. Yeah. Albeit again it was a cheap shot, but he still beat him.
The only thing I think that they could be going off of is, I guess, just since they've been friends and since they've been sparring, he's never beat him. So maybe that's where they're going off. Like, hey, like, yeah, since we've been like training together, he's never beat him. But it's funny because they're just like both so tired. He just kind of falls into him, but he's like, I won. We're skipping very far ahead, but the ending of this movie is fucking great.
Yes.
They finally, Vegeta beats Goku. Yeah. And then Chile's like, finally, Whis like, finally, thank God we did it. And then Broly and Nemo just fucking crying. And Chile's just like, guys are so dumb. Yes. Like, but it's so fucking great because you're just like, Broly would just be crying. He's like watching these people just fight it out we don't even know how long they've been there fighting. No. Like, presumably this whole fucking movie. So all this shit's been going on. But basically a whole day they've been fighting.
Right.
In base form. And Broly's just crying.
Yeah, like, base form. Like only punches, kicks, like can't use any ki blasts or the transformations. Like.
Another thing I love is we get to see Gohan use special beam cannon.
Yes,
it's fucking great.
Yes,
like, and it's finally, fuck man, it's about time.
Right. See, and it's funny because before this movie, I could not remember who did like a Masenko in the show to how like Gohan even like learned Masenko, and allegedly it was technically like the Demon King Piccolo who actually did the original Masenko.
Yeah,
but,
and it's cool. I mean, because even Piccolo's like, shit, what the fuck was that?
Yeah,
because that was that, but like it's way more powerful than what I could do. You actually aimed that shit, and it didn't take you 35 fucking minutes to do that shit. That shit went into space. Blue Cell, and he's like, woo.
And that was a very proud dad moment.
Proud of him. And Piccolo's just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I knew it. He, like I said, he pushes Gohan more than anybody. Goku's just like, I mean, I'm stronger than you, so if you want to like hurry up, I'm not gonna teach you. You just gotta get on my level somehow. Like Vegeta's not even on my level, but just get on my level. Like, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much all my positives. I mean, again, I said it non-spoiler, but the music is great in this. I like that thing. Oh yeah, one more positive. Gamma 2 is great.
Yeah,
he's silly and man goes out like a motherfucker. Man, he you know, they finally realize that they've kind of like fucked up and they've been tricked and stuff like that. And because Hedo had made them superheroes, they realized like, oh, these guys aren't the bad guys, so we have to help them defeat the bad guys. So that's great. That moment is awesome. Yes. I mean, that moment is like, it's so cool because he's like, you see him like using all of his energy and just like, and this is still, it's a good like reminder of the Cell Saga, you know, and like all of that when they do it and it's like futile. And so it's here, it's kind of the same thing happens, but at least he weakens him enough. So it's like, it's nice to like, hey, you did it, but it actually did something, you know. I think they're like, we're not going to do the same thing again. But still, it's that moment where it's like, look, it's like a fucking Avengers Endgame shot where like everybody's fucking down. Piccolo's getting the shit beat out of him to just sacrifice his life, and Gohan's like, what the fuck? Like, I gotta do something. And so, like I said, we see Krillin do that. That moment is just great. It's just, you know, Krillin comes down, takes off his fucking police hat, comes out there, does his solar flare. They do it. They fucking just blows him up. It's great. It's all good. You know, the Fat Fusion with Gotenks is great. I mean, he's actually even fucking useful. Yeah. Even the stupid shit in this movie is useful. He's got his ass hanging out half the movie and still does shit.
Right.
Like,
and it shows just how long it's been since Trunks and Goten have had to do anything, because the two people who fuse the most out of everyone forget how to actually fuse.
How to fuse. I mean, I don't think they know what to do, man. They're not collecting Dragon Balls and they're not fusing, so like they have no purpose. Yeah. Like they need to do something. Like they're just in. I just picture them like sitting behind school, like smoking weed now. I don't know what they're doing. They're like, well, we're not doing that shit for Bulma anymore, so we got nothing. But I guess, do you have any like negatives? I mean, we probably have the same negative, but like.
All right. So my biggest negative is Cell Max feels very much like a Bio Broly.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. I'm so conflicted on it because I'm like, I get like.
Albeit in this one, it does make more sense. Like they give more of a plausible reason for Cell Max being able to exist.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's like, hey, like Dr. DeRosa, you got him, and but even Hedo doesn't want him to exist. Like he made him purely here, and like, but he also made him where he would be like Cell, where he would be able to be controlled and stuff like that. So I mean, it's like malice, you know, and arrogance that sets him free. So it's like. That's the only reason I like that it's different. It's not we didn't get the same Cell. So at least if you're going to do it again, like, don't make him smart and like all of that. He's just like, he's fucking uncontrollable. Yeah. What the fuck do you do? Like, we fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, and so, yeah, like I said, it's one of those things. I mean, it's kind of similar to Resurrection F in that way. It's like, oh, we want to bring this guy back. How do we bring it back? This is still done better than that. Like, I think they really wanted to bring Frieza back. But Frieza really doesn't get good again until, I would say, even Tournament of Power. That's when he like comes back and is like actual Frieza again in the anime. So like that movie, it's fine, but he's just doing very generic Frieza things. And so I felt like, I'm like, you could have brought anybody back at that point. And you chose to bring Frieza back because you wanted to get him back. And
arguably the most popular villain. So that was all, I think, really just to sell.
It was, and I think that even that for me at the time, I was just like, oh, that's what we're doing. This doesn't feel that way for me because I'm just like, I have enough faith that now it's like we've done that. We bought bringing Broly back, like, and doing him so well. Yeah. I've given them like so much leeway now to be like, yes, Cell came back, but I really don't know what else you would do. Like I said, and we kind of talked about this a little bit in the last one, but like to further the anime, you can't really bring. I mean, if they just created a new villain, it would seem weird. So, especially with them bringing like the grandson, the androids, it makes sense in like the small like little thing that they've built. Like it's weird because Gamma 1 and 2 can't be the bad guys.
No.
So it's just like having just like Cell come back makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And plus you get that out of the way. Like, look, we got Frieza out of the way. We got Broly back out of the way. Cell's never fucking coming back.
Yeah.
We did the Cell thing.
And unless they do more of the manga, because I think he's in the manga somewhere.
Yeah, he comes back for a little bit in there. But I mean, this is just them being like, look, we did the shit. We did what you wanted. We've done all the things you wanted now. Now we can move on and go forward. Like, we could finally move on. Gohan's a badass again. Yes. We fixed Piccolo. Goten and Trunks are grown up.
Yeah.
Pan's bad. I mean, they literally are just like checking boxes. Toriyama's like checking boxes like, hey, you gotta do this.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta do this. Which is weird because like going into this originally, from what I was like doing some research on this, like Toriyama, like Gohan was not even in this movie. It was Piccolo. But then it's Toei who came to him and was like, yo, Gohan's like the most popular character in the world. Like overall, like yes, Goku's there, but like South America, Japan, it's Gohan. It's not Goku. So like, it's like if you've been Piccolo in this movie, you guys made fucking 13 movies with Piccolo and Gohan. Yeah. You can't have him without this. And so I think it's a good thing that Toei is not always great, but for them to recognize that like Gohan is that popular and they needed to do something with him, you know.
So thank you to Toei.
Yeah, you did something right.
Yes, for once.
Now calm down with your fucking copyright shit. It's out of control. It's out of control. Shit. Right. We get it. You own it. Like.
Then, of course, as we mentioned in the non-spoiler. For me, a lot of the animation was a negative.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they were just trying to combine CG, hand-drawn, cell shading. Like, they were trying to combine like so many different art styles into one thing. And for me, aside from like the special beam cannon, some of the blasts, like it didn't really necessarily work that well.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, that's what, even we mentioned there, like, that's where it works. Yeah. All the fights, that's where it works, you know? When, like, Gamma 2 is, like, going down, there's just this mix of, like, 3D, and then it flashes into that 2D stuff, and it goes black and white, and it's fucking cool. Like, I mean, that's some shit we got from Broly, you know? Like, and so that's when it works, man. Like, if they, like, I get Broly was probably super expensive and took a long fucking time to make. I get it. Like, but I feel like, if this is a route forward, if they can continue to like because like I said, those fights work. So if the movie can look like the fights, I think we'll be okay. But and maybe it will. Maybe they'll continue to work on this because they are making animes like this. So maybe, I mean, they've been making, like I said, Dragon Quest Dai like this, and I get this has been in production for a while. So like the techniques obviously change. So making 3 seasons of Dai, and if they make the anime kind of like this, maybe the next movie will have enough time behind it that it could look better and they can kind of flesh some of this stuff out. Plus, we don't even know what the budget for this is. I'm sure it was lower than Broly, especially if they're going, hey, we got to make an anime and then we got to make another movie in 2 years. So, like, all the budget's going to go to Vegeta and Goku and Broly. It's not going to go to Gohan and Piccolo. Whatever you may think, they're getting the budget. So, like, the next movie, I don't know will look like this. I think it will probably be more of a mix of 2D and CG than this is.
And then I would probably say my final negative, which really isn't a big negative, because it's sort of like harkening back to Dragon Ball, was the few moments of like fan service that
oh god, there's some like
because it wasn't needed. But
no, we got both sides of fan service at least. You know, we got a crotch shot. Yeah. Which I don't know how whole Hedo is, so I'm just like, this could be very uncomfortable. Is he like
allegedly 24? I'm still not buying that.
Yeah, no. So Barry 24, we get his crotch shot, and then we get some Bulma ass, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. And then we get
Chile ass,
and Beerus just staring at it. It's like,
at least Chile's ass is like far away.
Yeah.
Bulma's ass is like, we're seeing this on like a premium screen. It's all ass. I'm just like, all ass.
Yeah,
I mean, luckily it was tightened up before we saw it.
No,
it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Oh man, we saw saggy ass. Yeah. We didn't even see good ass. Like, it's not even worth it. It was pre-Wish. So I guess we can skip forward to like the kind of end of the movie where this sets us up and kind of maybe what we think is going forward. So Hedo goes and works for Bulma, of course,
Yeah.
because he's like an actual doctor and good at biology.
Yeah, so
he's like, hey, can you make some
He'll be
face
doing
cream?
the cosmetics for Capsule Corp.
She doesn't have to collect the Dragon Balls anymore.
No.
And even Piccolo's like, what the fuck? Like, why you keep... This is what you've been doing?
And he calls her out on
Yeah,
it.
which is great. Like I said, like there's a lot of like moments that people have just been saying shit. There's a lot of that. And going back to Piccolo, I do like when he summons Shinra, and Shinra's like, oh Piccolo-san. Like,
it's like, no, like, I'm not Sama.
yeah, it's great because he just like, Piccolo is never there. Because he's like being a badass. He doesn't need the fucking Dragon Balls. So it's great that Shinra's like, oh shit, I gave you a little extra. Don't hurt me. Like,
but Piccolo, if he calls Shinra out on it,
yeah.
With his transformation, he's like, a little extra my ass.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you give me a lot extra. Like, but that's great. Yeah, so we finish it off. You know, we're set. They're gonna go do that. Gohan's got a new transformation. Yeah. Piccolo's got a new transformation. Pan can fly now. Yeah. Her training is presumably starting again to the next level with Piccolo.
So she'll be doing the Ki Blast now.
Yeah, so I feel good about where we're at. I don't know what they're gonna do next. I kind of like, obviously there's a lot of speculation. It's probably gonna be more. I'm assuming like we'll go into the manga, but obviously done very differently, which I'm kind of excited about. Like I said, the manga's hit and miss for me. Yeah. Like I've always preferred the anime because I feel like it's a refined version of the manga. It's like, other than when Toriyama was writing both at the same time, like the Dragon Ball manga is great and the Dragon Ball Z manga is great because he was writing them like concurrently. Yeah. So it was like he was writing it and then it was happening. Whereas like this is Toyotaro, so it's a different person. So it's like notes and then somebody else writing. So it's really not all Toriyama. It's just his ideas. So now him taking back his ideas and being like, yeah, more is cool. Now we get to do what we want with him. You know, so plus reading fights is not as cool as fucking seeing them. That's the other thing with Dragon Ball. It's like, I don't want to read this shit. I want to watch it. Like reading the, I went back and like was reading the Tournament of Power. I'm like, this is so fucking boring. But you watch that shit, it's incredible. Reading Ultra Instinct is boring. Like seeing Ultra Instinct is great. So like, what are your like final just overall thoughts? And out of the modern movies, kind of where would you place it? So we're gonna do our tier ranking across the whole thing. I'm just curious because you've just watched these recently, like.
So in modern movies, I would probably put it second, maybe third. Like, okay. I mean, I probably still have Battle of Gods actually at the bottom, and then probably have Resurrection F and this somewhat tied because the F gave us a lot of story, and I'm a sucker for plot right now, but this one, it was fun. It gave us a lot of action, not as much plot, but it made up for that in the action. And then, of course, Broly at the top. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of with you I think they're kind of very interchangeable. I guess it would depend on the mood. I think, like, because, like, the fights in Resurrection F are kind of very boring. They're just kind of like, once Frieza gets there, it's all right there. Yeah. And it doesn't move, and it's kind of very static, and it's not... So in that department, it's kind of a letdown. So... I think it would just depend on my mood. Okay, what kind of stuff do I watch? And I'll be honest, I watch that one the least. Yeah. I watch even Battle of Gods. I'm like, if I'm going back to a modern Dragon Ball movie, it's probably Broly and probably going to be this. Because I think these are the ones that are the most fun for me to watch. And I'm going for the fights. In Battle of Gods, the fights are and Resurrection After So if I'm going back to two movies, it's going to be these two. So I think... For me, I think this is like a little better for me than Resurrection, just because what I come to Dragon Ball for is I like plot, but in the movies, I'm like, I don't necessarily have to have a lot of plot. I want big spectacle. Whereas like anime is like all plot heavy, like. But like I said, Broly's the perfect mix of those. It's the perfect mix. I don't know that we'll ever get that perfect mix again. Broly may always be my favorite. Anybody who says Broly is not the best is confusing to me. I don't understand why people think Battle of the Gods is fucking the best, but. Teach their own, I guess.
Trust me. Once we get into the Demon Slayer movie, you're like, oh my god.
So I mean, I think that's all I got. Like I said, I mean, for me, it's probably we're gonna like rate this. I mean, I know we don't rate a lot of stuff, but I mean, and this for me is like 8.5. I think it's not like perfect for me, but it's fun. I get a lot of what I want. Just not the 9-10 which Broly has for me, because I think Broly's almost a perfect Dragon Ball movie. It's the plot stuff, and it's like the moving the anime forward. We get good characters. I think that's kind of where I'm at. Like,
yeah, I'd probably have to give it like 7.5, just because as I've talked to you off of this, like it's extremely hard to crack that 8 to 10 range in anything for me.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's all we got. We got a lot going forward. So if you listen to this, if you listen the whole way, great. We're gonna be doing a lot of things.
On Tuesdays, we've got the Slice of Life series with Brain Man. So we'll be going over Slice of Life animes and some other animes that I've enjoyed or haven't enjoyed, because I will do a couple episodes on animes I haven't liked. Thursdays are going to be our normal videos.
Yeah, so we're gonna start with Demon Slayer, and those may like change depending on the week. We're gonna be doing a lot of different stuff in that slot. Tuesdays will always be the Slice of Life stuff, and then Thursdays will be kind of like it'll be either a movie or an anime. It'll be something that we're covering, and then we may have an occasional episode here and there that's different stuff, like our tier list, and we may just do random things. I may do an episode of something here or there, but a lot to look forward to. We're just actually starting now. We got the thing out of the way that we wanted to do, so now we can actually like focus on other things. Dragon Ball can sit on the back burner for a little bit till the anime.
Right. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And once you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will know when we upload.
Yep. And if you've made it this far, we do have a Patreon, which once we get enough people there, we'll start doing stuff on there. Yeah. And then other than that, I think that's all we got. I hope you enjoyed this movie. If you do, let us know down below what you thought of this one, kind of what you're looking forward to going forward in the anime and Dragon Ball as a whole. What's your favorite movie out of these modern ones? Let us know that. Yes. What's your ranking? Let us know your ranking. See where everybody sits. I'm curious to see where everybody puts Battle of the Gods in contention. I'm curious. Like I said, that's all I got.
That's all I've got.
All right. Peace.